the recording works. And I'm just gonna let some more people in. Fantastic. Hello. Hey, welcome. Super excited to see all of your beautiful faces. The ones that I can see. And hey, everybody that I can't see also. Felicia, you and I have not seen each other before. Hey, super duper welcome. Super excited that you're here. And then I see my beautiful clients, Sophia and Helena. Hey, beautiful, amazing women. And hey, all the women that I don't see, but I know that you are here. Hey, Sophie. I see you now as well. Hello. Okay, wonderful. I'm just kind of laughing right now because I do have a new laptop and like the quality of the camera is just so amazing. Like my old laptop I had for 7 years, and this one I got home yesterday. So this is the first day I'm using it. And apparently like the screen is much wider. So normally I can sit here and you would only see me and you would only see the black background. But apparently we also see the window now. So we see all the buses, all the cars and all the people going through. So everybody will have a show as well as they're walking past. Well, good for them. So, and also the other funny thing here is that the door to this like pod room, it was something wrong with the door. So I can't really close it. So you may hear other people outside. This is just funny because it really helped me. Because today we are going to go through beliefs, the beliefs that you have to shift in order to become successful. And one of the biggest beliefs, and one of the first one that we will be covering, is the one to know that we are enough. And I will really go deep into that one, and I will do some introduction before we dive into that one as well. But one of the things that happens when I am not enough, when that one triggers, then we tend to get really, really nervous. And that for some reason happened within me today. And I was like, oh, I'm really nervous for this live. And I don't know exactly what happened, but when all of this other stuff just happened around me, then I realized like the whole universe is just co-creating with me as always to really help me to just know that everything is fine. So everything is chaos on there around me, but I know that we are fine. We are here and this will be absolutely awesome. So who is excited for this training today? Amazing. Wonderful. I see hands. I love that. I love when you're smiling and I love when you're showing your hands when I'm asking questions. And I do say this to my amazing clients as well. So some of my clients, they're so good at really feeding me with so much positivity. And they're like, Lynn, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful. And I'm always telling them, like, when you are feeding me with positivity, I give so much more back. That's apparently one of my love languages, when people feed me with positivity. I just love that. I thrive in that. So I really love when you're smiling and when you're giving me feedback, because then I know that you can hear me, that you can see me, and that you understand what it is that I'm talking about. So if we haven't met before, my name is Linda, and I am the founder of the Facebook group that you're all obviously in, the Facebook group called Escape the Rat Race with a Purposeful Laptop Lifestyle. Linda, you're out walking. Okay, amazing. So I'm happy that you will be able to hear. Okay, and other Linda, sorry for not having my camera on, you're sick. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. So we know that we have one Linda who is sick at home, better soon, and then we have Lena out walking. Amazing. Wonderful. And I'm going to admit one more person in. Hey, Ingrid, welcome. Amazing. Yeah, so this amazing Facebook group, it took me quite a while to actually figure out what did I want to call the group. Because the work that I help women with is just so incredible. It is so life-changing. And I was like, how can we summarize this life-changing transformation within a few words? So we were diving so deep, and then we came up with the name Escape the Rat Race with a Purposeful Laptop Lifestyle. Because in the end of the day, that is what I am so passionate about. That is the journey that I have done for myself. And that is the journey that I help women through now. And it is absolutely incredible. And I think that the name of the Facebook group, it ties everything together so well with what we are going to talk about today. The different beliefs that we actually have to shift in order to create a successful life. Because I was in a life where I felt so stuck. I felt that nothing was working out for me. I was trying to make money. I knew, like, obviously I knew I could make money if I had a traditional job, like a normal job, but I felt so strongly that that wasn't for me. So I did everything I could to not have a traditional job, because every time I had a job, I felt like I was in prison. Who can relate to that feeling? Who ever felt like you were in prison when you had a regular job? Okay, amazing. So we know that. Linda as well. Okay, fantastic. All right, so we know that I'm talking to the right kind of women here, and it makes me so happy. It makes me happy because I know that it is actually possible to get out of that. And when we are talking about a successful life, I think that, at least for me, I think a successful life has many components. A successful life is the financial, that we are able to do what we want when we want to. We have the time. We have beautiful, amazing relationships. We have a healthy body. And we feel amazing. So there are several components that are included in a successful life. Would you agree? And we are going to be focusing today on the success regarding especially the freedom and the money, because I know that so many of you are in that phase of your life where you really, really, really want to set yourself free. So that is what we are going to be focusing on. But the awesome thing is also that, so I did say I'm the founder of the Escape the Rat Race group, but I'm also the founder of a program called Master Manifester. And Master Manifester is the paid program that my beautiful, amazing clients are in. And the Master Manifester, I started to create a Master Manifester program when I had left my old life and I had moved to Bali. I had moved to Bali with my soulmate Jonas, and we were really living the dream. And in Bali was also where I started to really learn to channel the non-physical realm. I didn't go to any training or anything like that, but I think when I was in Bali, I felt safe enough to actually start to open up. So the core of the Master Manifester that my clients now, 5 years later, are going through, it came from that beautiful, amazing part and place of my life where I had completely set myself free. So my clients, and then what happened also, because then my clients, so the whole Master Manifester is exactly what the name assumes. It is helping the amazing women to become master manifestors. And when we're talking about master manifestors, we want to become master manifestors of all areas of our life, not only one area. So we can really use all of those techniques that we're learning in the Master Manifester to really create a life of our dreams. Because I believe that we are here to live lives that we absolutely love. Who feel called, who feel like, hey, I am here on planet Earth to create a life that I absolutely love, that I feel so passionate about when I wake up in the morning. You feel that in your heart. Amazing. Wonderful. We are in such a big, who believes in past lives? Okay, fantastic. I'm talking to really the right group of women here. So many of us are, I see Linda and Lina also. Perfect, amazing, thank you. So many of us are right now on planet Earth because we have been here so many lifetimes before. And many of us can also agree with the feeling that we start to feel a bit tired. We're like, I just want to get this lifetime right so that I don't really have to come back. And the first time I could realize that for myself, and I started to share with some of my clients, they were like, I feel exactly the same. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that anybody else felt that way, but now I know. So what I have seen throughout all the different sessions that I've done, because most of the stuff, like the sessions that I do, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist in the beginning, like that's my training. And then I've developed my own technique, the muscle manifestor hypnosis techniques that my clients are now learning. And it is so much about the subconscious work, but even more, it is about accessing our soul and to understand what our soul has come to planet Earth to do. And never has it been one single session where somebody said, like, no, you just came here to live a boring life. It doesn't happen, because everybody who feel in their heart that they are meant to live a big life, they feel that way. All of you feel that way, because that is what your soul has planned for you. So what we will be going through today are, how many did I say? 13 different beliefs. 13 different beliefs that are going to be really, really important to start to shift from our subconscious mind. Because as long as we keep believing these 13 different beliefs, it's going to be hard. Hey, Sarah. It's going to be hard to manifest the life we want. So I would highly suggest, if you have the ability to bring pen and paper, I would highly encourage you to bring pen and paper. Amazing. Felicia, you were already on the way before I even said something. I love that. I love that. Amazing. Wonderful. And the first one that I already a little bit touched on is the belief that I am not enough. This is such a huge one. And this is the reason why the first thing that happens when my clients come into the Master Manifestor program, they get a hypnosis recording to program their subconscious mind to know that they're enough. Because this is such a big one. If we believe that we are not good enough, there are several things that are going to happen. Some people can make it. Some people do get super successful. I've spoken to rich people. Let me put it that way. Because as I said, successful is more like when we have everything together, in my opinion. So I rather say I've spoken to a few very rich people. So financially, they made it, but they were still not happy. Because inside, they had this belief that I'm not good enough. So some people do make it, even though they have the belief, and then the belief I'm not good enough is going to drive them to actually produce physical result. But what I see is even more common with the women that are drawn to my work, how that I'm not good enough, how that manifests in our physical reality, is that we give up. We give up on ourselves. And then we are in our 30s, 40s, maybe 50s, and feeling like I should have come further in my life. Because when we have that belief, I'm not good enough, it really means that we are not standing up for ourselves. We are never going to stand up for ourselves if we have a belief that we are not good enough. Does that make sense? This one is huge. And what happens when we believe that we are not good enough? This one was so huge for me. I really had this my whole life, and how it manifested in my reality was that I had to make up lies. There were so many times where I believed that my truth was not good enough. Like, if people really knew who I was, if people really knew what I've gone through, they wouldn't love me. Who has ever felt that way? If people really knew my truth, they wouldn't like me. And the beautiful thing that I just want to add, thank you, Lina, also. The beautiful thing about this that I just want to add is that when I have learned that I am enough, like my truth is enough, I have created the most magical connections with women all around the world. Because what I figured is that almost each one of us, we feel or have felt that way. So thank you so much for everybody raising your hand and sharing that, because I was actually also trained this way. So my mom, she's an amazing person, but she really has the belief also of not being good enough, and one's truth is not really good enough. And especially when I started to date when I was younger, and I started to date all of this like different people, and there were so many times she was like, yeah, but you don't have to tell everybody about that, because I was very open. Like when I was a teenager, I was like, I was telling all these different stories about like everything I did, and there were so many times where she was like, yeah, but you don't have to tell people about that. Kind of, you can tweak the truth a bit. Whoever tweaked the truth a bit for the truth to sound a bit better. There were so many times also in school when, you know, when people started to go out and they were quite fun, like everybody went to parties on Fridays, Saturdays. And I didn't know it back then. I know it now. Like, I'm an introvert. I have sociable skills, but I'm an introvert. I don't really like hanging around people. And for me, because I was so driven as well, I have such a massive drive. Who feel like you're a driven person? You have a big, big, big drive. Amazing. I love that. Then I know which ones will be successful. Fantastic. So I really felt that, like, I'm not going to give up. So I grew up with dyslexia. So some of you that be chatting with me, sometimes there are spelling errors. That's because of the dyslexia. So Lina, you hated parties at school. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and so did I. I did not see why I should hang out with those people. My mom tried to make me go to the parties because she kind of thought that I don't know if she thought I was boring, or maybe she thought that I felt that life was boring because she is more of a sociable person. So I think that she wanted me to go to the parties. Anyway, I didn't go, and I was home studying because I knew that I was going to be successful in my life. And I realized that if I have dyslexia, then I have to work twice as hard as the people around me. So I was so dedicated. But that was something that we're still speaking about, this belief of not being good enough. This is where I really started to make up lies. So when people started telling me or ask me, like, what did you do on Friday? Oh yeah, I made up all these awesome stories about everything I did. And another friend of mine, we had this whole story about how we used to live in Acapulco, and like, I've never been to Acapulco. I didn't even know it was a country. But we had this awesome story about how we used to live there. So it was all this thing, like when we have the belief that we are not good enough, then we can't really show our truth, because we think that if people knew how boring I am, then they wouldn't really like me. I wouldn't be accepted. And it is funny now, but it wasn't funny back then. But now I see your smiles, which I love that. And it just makes me know, like, it resonates, because you can probably understand. And then when I was married later on, I was married to an ice hockey player, and I had a network marketing company. And there, this truth was the like the hiding of the truth. I don't know if I shall bring this up. Well, I felt like I felt like if people, you know how you in a network marketing company, different people are working with it differently, but the way I worked with it was that I presented a marketing plan, and I wanted people to join my team in order to make money and stuff like that. This was like 10 years ago, but I felt like I had to keep up the facade even more, because I felt like if people knew how little I make, like I didn't even make money. I was losing money every month. And I just felt like if people knew how little I make, they would never want to do what I do. And I wanted them to do what I do so that I and them could make money, right? So then that belief got even stronger. Like, my truth is not good enough, so I have to hide, and I had to and I also had this belief, like, I really have to dress in a certain way to look professional. Whoever had a feeling or a belief of how you need to dress in order to be successful enough? Amazing, wonderful. So you would always see me in different dresses and different kind of like women's suits and stuff like that to really look super professional. And even if now, even if you would go back to my to one of my YouTube channels that I started when I first started to understand about the subconscious mind and the enormous power that we actually have in our subconscious, even then, like if you would go back only 7 years ago, when I was filming for my YouTube, I also have different suits on to really look professional, because I thought I wasn't good enough. So I had to step into this facade and this role of how I thought I needed to be in order to be accepted. The thing though, with the belief that I'm not good enough, when we have that belief, it's going to keep us stuck. I know I kind of asked the question before, but I'm going to ask it again in a little bit of a different way. Who here feels that you have been working really, really, really hard in your life, but you're still kind of stuck? Thank you. Thank you for sharing this. And in my experience, what I've seen is that the more we believe that we are not good enough, the more we are hiding our truth. And when we are hiding our truth, and at the same time we try to go for the successful life, we are attracting the wrong kind of opportunities and the wrong kind of people into our reality. Because when I first started to nail the understanding that, oh my God, I am good enough, I started to be able to show up like me. I started to be able to share online what I have been through in my life. I started to be I started to share about the whole infertility story that I went through, and like I started to be completely open with stuff. And what I saw happened as soon as I started to become more and more of the authentic self. Amazing opportunities were drawn into my life, because our own truth, how I would describe it, is that, like, you know, when you get the question, like, who are you? What is the you inside you? I believe that the you inside you is your soul. Like, you are the soul, and you are inside this human body, and you do have a subconscious mind that is trying to protect you from actually showing up as the soul that you are. Hey, Louise, I see you. So the more we can realize and really step out and be that soul that we are, the more amazingness we can attract. Does that make sense? The more we can show our soul essence, the more soul matching essence we can actually bring into our reality. Is that too complicated, or does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if it makes sense. Amazing, wonderful, perfect, good. And this is why it is so extremely important that we shift that belief, that we go from the understanding that I'm not enough to understand that you are freaking enough. You are enough, and you are so needed on this planet. I was listening through, because in the Master Manifestor program, the whole, like a third of that training is how to become a Master Manifestor Hypnocoach, or certified Master Manifestor Hypnocoach yourself. And there is a part which is focusing on marketing. And I was listening through this training the other day. It's a 2.5-hour training about marketing. And in this training, I was talking about really showing up in the world as our authentic self. And I was telling Do you want to hear a funny story? Yeah, thank you. So I was telling in that story how how I used to have this feeling like that I wasn't good enough, and then when I realized like the more I can show my humanness, that I'm human, and the more I can show like the realness of me, the more amazingness I will attract. And this is how we build our soul-based business. So in that training, I shared a part that I actually peed my I peed my pants in a live training I had. So I was sharing this in another live training, like, oh, the last live training I did, I peed my pants. And I'm like, this is nothing. In a million years, I would never had shared this before. But the beautiful thing is that I asked, so all the women that was on this live training, I asked them like, okay, so it was like a whole story to that peeing story. But then I asked them like, now when you know, yeah, Lina, you were on that training, were you? Where I told that story, and I'm so happy that there were so many of you that were just laughing, and everybody was saying like, we love you. Yeah, you were there. Thank you. And because I asked, and I was like, do you feel that you're less connected to me now when you have heard the truth, or do you feel that you're more connected? And everybody was saying like, more connected, more connected, more connected. They were like, we love you even more when we can see your rawness, when we can see your whole truth. But in order for me to share that truth, I needed to know that my truth was enough. Does that make sense? When we are curing the enoughness, we are still on the first one. We have 13 to cover, so I'm going to be shorter on the other ones. But when we are curing and shifting the I am enough one, things will really start to take place. And that is really, really, really what happened in my own life when I went from stuck to flow in my life. That was a big, big, big part of that story, where I went from being so stuck, and then all of a sudden I could manifest an apartment. So I lived in Luleå before, and then I could manifest an apartment in Stockholm, and I could manifest my soulmate, and I could manifest that like all my soulmate clients, and I could manifest that we were moving to Bali and all this stuff. And everything came from shifting that belief. So have we all written down the belief, cure the belief, I am enough or I'm not enough? Amazing. Okay, fantastic. I see very good students. I love that. So let's jump into the next one. I'm going to bring up my notes. The second thing is that we must know that what we want is available to us. What I want is available to me. Because if we believe that, most of us do believe in one way or another, that what I want is not available to me. Who has ever felt that? That what I want is not available to me. Amazing. And I'm not going to go too deep into this one. It's quite self-explanatory that when we understand that, like, it makes sense, right? If you have a belief that what I want is not available, are you really going to go for that? Or is it just going to stay a dream? It is just going to stay a dream, right? If you have a belief that that thing is not available anyway. So there is no reason to go after it. But as soon as we can shift that and really flip that belief, and to understand that actually what I want is available to me, then all of a sudden we can really level up and understand like, hey, it is available to me and I am allowed to go after it. Does that make sense? Amazing. Wonderful. This one is really, really, really important. And this one is so deep for so many people. And of course, now when I'm pinpointing it, it makes total sense. But most people are walking around with this belief. Is this conflict? Like consciously they want it with their whole conscious mind, which is only 5% of the manifestation power. 5% is like your dreams and desires, like what you consciously know that you want. That's 5%. And then you have your whole subconscious mind, which is like, I would say the back of your head. I don't know exactly where it is, but if we say like the back of your head is 95%. Your subconscious mind is responsible for 95% of your whole manifestation power. So if you want to manifest your successful life, you need to go in and make changes in the subconscious mind. Who has ever read a lot of personal development books? Did it go super fast to make changes? It didn't, right? Like, because it is such a slow process. Because I'm not saying that it's not good to read books, but when we are trying to work with a conscious mind, I don't even know what I shall compare that to. But basically, when we want a fast shift, because there are so many, like I used to read so many books, like for 10 years when I was in the network marketing business, I was reading so many different books. And I was doing the affirmations, and I was reading the whoever read affirmations? I get tired even of speaking of it. Because this is like, we're trying to work with our conscious, but the power is in our subconscious. So the big conflict becomes, like when I'm talking about the beliefs that you have to shift, they're all beliefs in our subconscious. This is why we need to go into the subconscious and change them there. I'm gonna see. Yeah, I think there are different ways, like in the way I'm talking. So you were saying that you've heard that the subconscious is actually our body. So we have to work with the body, not the mind. I wouldn't agree with that. But I guess that different people are saying different things. So I'm like, all the stuff that I'm sharing is from the perspective of our subconscious mind, with all the beliefs that have been imprinted in our subconscious mind from our childhood and from our past lives, so that we can really come through and be working with the soul, because the soul will always, always, always show us the way. But I would agree with the body thing, that there are so many, like if we have, for example, a physical pain. So the other week I did a session with a client who's inside my program, The Master Manifestor, and we added that to the training. So nowadays I don't do private sessions with people anymore, but I do private sessions for my clients and I put them into the training. So we did a session on IBS, when you have really problems with your belly. So that is something physical. But directly when we asked, like, where is this coming from? It was the past lives. And it was how she had been imprinted in her soul about how she was acting, and how she needed to act from the past lives. And that was imprinted to this life, so that she could not set boundaries. So the boundaries that she couldn't set boundaries in this lifetime had everything to do with that stress that was caused in her life, that then created a whole problem in her physical body. So they are definitely working together. Like everything that is stored in our physical body is for sure a result of the mind. And then some people would work with the body. I work with the mind because I see that, like, from everything I have seen on my journey, that is super, super, super fast. But yeah, so if we want to change that understanding that what I want is not available, we need to shift that and understand that actually what I want is available. So that makes sense to everybody, right? Amazing. Wonderful. I'm going to jump into the next one. Okay, so we will see who can relate to this. When I have that, I will be happy. When I realized this, it was such a big aha moment for me back in my journey, because I really believed that in order for me to be happy, because I was very unhappy in the life I was living, and I really believed that when I had the boats, the private jets, when I have the awesome luxury hotels every single week, like when I have my house, when I have my babies, because I used to go through infertility, I really believed like when I have those things, I will be happy. When we have that belief, it is going to be a constant struggle. Who has ever had the feeling and the awareness that you were really chasing something, and then you bought that thing or you manifested that thing into your life, and you were happy, you were like super happy for a few days, but then that became normal, and then it was the chase of the next thing in your life, like, oh, but it didn't really make me that happy, so I need to go for the next thing. Whoever felt that? So it becomes this like chase of the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. So when we come to the understanding that I came to in the beginning of my journey, when I had started to understand the power of our subconscious mind, was that when I can understand that my outside is a pure result of my inside, then we become so powerful. In the like in the process of you, because several of you said that you do feel stuck. In this process of feeling stuck and really want to create a successful life, who of you ever felt powerless? Thank you for sharing that. When we can understand that it's not the outside that will make us happy, it is actually like when we can understand that we can be our own happiness. I know, like, if we're super angry at the moment, it's going to be hard to really take this one in, but just write it down and one day it will make sense. When we can understand that our whole outside is a result of our inside, that is when we bring our power back. It, like, when we want to manifest that successful life, we need to work on the inner alignment. The inner alignment is so powerful because once we tap into the inner alignment, then that whole successful life becomes available to us. Does that make sense? A few not. Does it make sense, or shall I explain it a bit more? Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Perfect. So funny. There is a man, like, he's putting stuff out just beside me. This is also so awesome. Like, when we have the ability to work from wherever we want to work, it's pretty amazing to just sit in a place where we have a lot of friends, and that is what we choose to do. So I'm in a co-working space where we have all our friends, and yeah, apparently stuff are going on. Okay. Okay, so who has ever felt this one? I can't ask for help. I have to figure it out myself. Luis, you did not feel that one. Okay, but all the other people. All right, amazing. This was also such a big one. And I really thought like I needed to figure everything out myself. And this is so common among the women that are drawn to my work. They're saying like, oh, I suddenly realized that maybe I can ask for help. And when we realize that we can ask for help, and instead of feeling that we need to try to figure it out, like all of this, by the way, again, is just based on everything that we learned in our childhood. Everything. It's just a programming. Like I said in the beginning, I just bought a new laptop, and I was asked about a few settings, like what settings do I want in my new laptop? And our subconscious program is exactly the same. It is running by a programming, and therefore we have the results that we want, that we are having. But if we want to change the results that we are having and seeing in our life, we need to change the programming. I remember, I think I had a sales page or a website saying that trying to manifest what you want with the wrong programming is like trying to download an app without internet. Like it doesn't work. We need to change that programming. So when we change the programming to understand that it is okay for me to ask for help, like I'm worthy of asking for help, then we can bring in help to our life. And when we are bringing in help to our life, like some of you have done that are my program, for example, you ask for help, you were like, can I be a part of your program? And then the process accelerates so much. We had Helena, who is with us right now. She was coming on here, the live I did last week, and she was just sharing a few words about her amazing journey. And one of the things that you shared, Helena, was how incredibly fast your journey has really been. So from being completely stuck in a job, you have accelerated your process so fast, and you're like 3 months into the program and you're about to just take on paid clients now, which is just incredible. Like, and this comes from the new belief, the shift in the belief that we are worthy of having help. We don't need to figure stuff out ourselves. There is so much amazing help available for us. And I've been working so much with this the last 6 months for myself. And I've invested now, or Jonas and I, my amazing boyfriend and I combined, we invested, I think it is more than this, but just in the last 6 months, it's over 350,000 SEK. We have invested that in getting help. And what have happened is that, who feels that is a lot of money? 350,000 SEK. I used to think that as well, but what have happened is that I've had the most incredible months. Like my last 6 months in my business and my company, it's been just acceleration. Because when we can get help from somebody who is ahead of us, our journey can speed up so much. And this have happened every single time. When I found myself and I asked myself, like, why am I stuck? Well, it was because I thought I needed to figure it out myself. And then I instead took help from somebody who could actually help me, who had been through the journey themselves before me. And I could hook on to them and they could help me. And this is why my clients' process are so fast, because they hook on to me because I have done the journey. I've been on this journey for over 7 years now. And I do have amazing results in my life, thanks to all the shifts that I have done. So that was, I don't know what number it was. you guys will have to count yourself. But the next belief that we want to shift is that life happens to me instead of for me. Whoever felt, oh no, that thing just happened to me. Oh no, my car broke down. That happened to me. Like everything happens to me. Okay, amazing. So there are a few of you sharing this. When we can realize, I had this amazing, wonderful call yesterday with one of my wonderful clients. And I just asked her, because we recorded this call. So I asked her, would it be okay if I post this call in the group? Yes, exactly, Louise. Everything happens for you. So this is the shift that we want to come to. So in this call I had with Hannah yesterday, that we will now be placing in the Escape the Rat Race Facebook group, we were discussing this thing that thanks to the stuff that she had been through in her life, the really hard things, and thanks to the really hard things that I had been through in my life, we could meet. And she, like, I have amazing results and she are having amazing results now as well. And we just came to the conclusion that if it would not have been for what we thought was happening to us, we would never have been at the level of success that we are today. Does that make sense? So we really want to shift that. So I call that the victim mentality, when we really feel that life is happening to us. And this one we want to shift as fast as humanly possible, just like Louis said, that we want to understand that things are actually happening for me. And yeah, this is, by the way, like as we're building, for those of you who want to be building your soul-based freedom business in the future, everything that you have been through in your life that you felt or maybe felt that happened to you, that will be such a powerful part of your whole purpose, of your whole journey in you connecting with other people. So just keep that in mind, that when you can make that shift to understand that things are not happening to you, they are happening for you, life will really start to shift. And you will really start to be able to see magic in your reality. Alrighty. Okay, the next one. You either make money or you do what you love. You can't do both. Who has ever felt that? Sarah, no? Okay, amazing. So Ingrid, Helena, a few of you. Okay, so a few of you have had that feeling or do have that feeling, and you have that has been a programming in your subconscious mind. So many of us have that programming that money is hard to make, like money shall be suffering, it shall be like really, really hard to make money. And if we are wanting to do something that we absolutely love, then that could be a hobby, but you can't do both. So this is definitely like, if we want to have a thriving soul-based business and we want to create freedom and happiness and success in our reality, we really want to shift that one. We want to fully understand that making money from something that we love is a match made in heaven. Okay, so the next one, we will see how many of you have felt this. For me, this was a big one. And I'm going to look back at all of you as I'm saying this. Men are more suited to make money than women, or it is easier for men to make money than it is for women. Who has ever felt that one? A few. Amazing. Thank you for sharing this. I realized this one. It was a really, really big one for me. I really, like when I was 19, I was really good at attracting wealthy. Oh, Sophia, it was the opposite for you. Amazing. Yeah. So different people do have different beliefs depending on what we have seen in our reality. So I was really good at attracting wealthy guys into my life because that was my programming, that because I knew I was supposed to have a luxurious life, and my programming was that men are the one making money, like women, they can survive, but men are the one bringing luxury into the family. When that was the belief that was in my subconscious, I always had a struggle to make my own money, but I was also very good at bringing in men who was really good at making money. So I kept seeing that in my whole life. But when we want to take our power back, when we want to create a successful life, we don't want to be dependent on anybody else. And this is one of the like most rewarding things. Like, yeah, one of the, like when we were doing that shift, I was going to say like, this is one of the most rewarding things and shifts that I've done. But all of these things that I'm talking about today are super, super, super important shifts. But when I went from believing that I was a princess and that men were the ones that would serve me with handbags and luxury travel and everything, when I realized that, oh, I can actually do that myself, I can make that money, that was so empowering. And that, like, when I did the shift and I heard a woman and she said, she's really successful, and I was on a call with her, and there was one thing that she said. She was like, good-hearted women, women with big hearts, women with empathic abilities, they need to make money, because when those kind of women make a lot of money, I think she specifically said when those women are becoming millionaires, they are going to create such a big, massive shift on planet Earth. And that was powerful. When I heard her say that it just went so deep in me. And I was like, this is so true. And this is a part of why I do what I do nowadays, where I teach women to really take back their power and make money from their empathic skills. Because I know that for each of my clients that goes out in the world making a shit ton of money, they're going to do so much good in this world. And I'm all about that, making the world a happier, healthier, more abundant place. So that is a big shift to understand that we as women, we really can and need to make the money if we feel in our hearts that we're meant to do so, of course. All right. I'm going to see. This one as well is super important when we want to make money, especially from our empathic gifts, that I am not supposed to charge for what comes natural to me. Who has ever felt that way? Like Sophie, amazing, and Linda, fantastic, Felicia, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. I don't know if I ever felt this one so strongly myself, but I started to see a lot of my clients who had this programming. And they said like, well, but this is so easy for me, because like they all have this empathic skills and they're so sensitive and they can tune into people and they can connect with their higher realms and they can channel information, like after a bit of training, of course, but like, and they were like, but can this comes so naturally, can I really charge for this? So when we want to make, like when we want to build a soul-based business, this one is massive to change, to really understand that we are supposed to make a lot of money from what comes natural to us. Because like the things that are coming natural to you, would you say that your natural skills, would you say that they would have a more negative or a more positive impact on people's lives? You can do positive and negative. Positive. Okay, amazing, wonderful. So this is the thing, and this is why it's so important to understand this, that we for sure are supposed to make money from what comes natural to us. We have 3 more to go. And I did cut out like 4 of them that didn't really make it to the list. Sorry, but here we go. We have 3 more. That my desires are not good enough. I think I'm not like, okay, I can ask, do any of you know that you have a belief that what you truly want in your life is not good enough? Like it's not good enough. It's, oh, Sophie, okay. Because I thought that maybe you were not aware that you even felt this. I was not aware until maybe like 9 months ago. Then I became aware that I had one of those, that what I wanted or what I deeply, deeply desired, my life in luxury, the nice boats, the nice cars, the nice handbags, like all the luxurious stuff that I want to have in my life and that I am creating in my reality. I felt that, yes, it resonates. Okay, fantastic. I thought I was okay with sharing with people what I really wanted, but then I realized I had a wake-up call, and it was actually thanks to watching Kim Kardashian. So I had heard so many people just talking so negatively about the Kardashians, and they were talking, like really shitty stuff about them. And then I was like, yes, I probably shouldn't watch the Kardashians. But then I remembered, I remember watching one of their like shows many years ago, and it was really inspiring to me. So I decided, like about 9 months ago, I was like, I'm just gonna watch a few episodes and see what happens. Like, do I like it? What kind of lifestyle do they live? And then I heard Kim say, she was like, I always knew since I was a kid, she was like, I knew that I wanted to be rich and I wanted to be famous. And she was really owning it. You know, when somebody just owns something, they stand for something. And she did that. And when she said that, and I was like, yeah, but that is my thing as well. Like, that is really what I always wanted. So when I heard her say that, that in itself helped me to accept the fact that, of course, what I want, not only am I good enough, but also what I want, my desires are also good enough. When we believe that my desires are not good enough, then we're really going to hide them. Can you see why it's going to be really, really hard to manifest what you truly want if you believe that you really shouldn't have what you truly want because that is not really good enough? Does that make sense? I had this thing as well when I did, so some of you know that I did a breast surgery like 2 years ago, and that was a really, really, really big process for me. So I had something called tubular breasts, which is like a deformation of the breasts. And I didn't know what I had, so I just thought like, well, my breasts look a bit different, but I really wanted to have like just normal breasts that didn't look the way they looked. But it was such a process because I had this belief was so triggered that it wasn't okay to want what I wanted. I was like, what will people think of me if they know that I really want to do this? Am I like, is this good enough to actually want to change something with my physical appearance? And I had to work really, really, really deep work on my subconscious to actually understand that, of course, my desires are enough and I am supposed to go after them. And my clients in the Master Manifestor program, they have heard what an incredible outcome it became from the whole breast surgery. Not only the result and how much I love my boobs nowadays, that was one result from that, but there were so many other results. It turned out that the surgeon who is in Holland, who is an expert on this kind of breast surgery, he is a part of my soul family. And there were things that we discussed that had a massive impact on my business and my mission on planet Earth. So it's so funny how things like are being woven in together as we are realizing that your desires, they are accepted and they are important. The reason why you have those desires within yourself is because you are supposed to go after them. And that was the same thing. As soon as I heard Kim Kardashian say that she wanted to be rich and famous, and the day after, I made a YouTube video, something, and I think, yeah, it started with, well, if you're anything like me, you always knew that you wanted to be rich. And that video really took off compared to how my other videos had been doing before, because that was the first time I shared that truth. Because at that point, I realized that my desire is enough. And when I could share that desire, I could connect with other women who wanted the same. Does this make sense? So that is such a big, like when we realize that your desires, they're not only enough, they're not only accepted, but they are important. They're really, really, really important. There is a reason why, who know that there are more than 10 things that you really want in your life, that you really, really, really deeply want in your life. More than 10 things. Amazing. I'm super happy, Sophie, that you are saying that you really needed to hear this. Amazing. I think so many of us do need to hear this. Hey, Natalie, welcome. Because once we understand that the whole me, all my wishes, all my wants, they are not only enough, but they are super, super, super important, because your desires, they also have a connection with your soul's mission. In order to have your dream life, your successful life, you will have to grow into the woman that you need to be in order to have what you need to have. And when you are really stepping in and becoming her, that version of yourself, you are shedding the old and you are stepping into her. And that version of you can live any life she wants. Everything that you want is totally available to you. How does that feel to know? Good? Amazing. Wonderful. Happy to hear that. Who want to hear the two last ones? Do we have any? Did you hear them? Okay, good. Happy. Otherwise, I was just going to quit it here. Okay, all right. Let's do them. So it takes hard work to be successful. Who feels like in order to create my rich life where I have the freedom that I want, it takes really hard work to make a lot of money to have that kind of freedom that I want? Who feels that it takes a lot of work? As long as we have this belief that it is hard to make money and it is hard to create that kind of freedom, our subconscious mind will stop us, because none of us really want to have that. Like, if we already feel that the mountain is so extremely high, most of us are not even going to bother to even start walk up there. Our subconscious mind is just going to try to keep us down instead of going up, if it believes that it is hard to make money. And also, if we have that belief that it is hard to make money, that is what we will be seeing over and over and over again. Who has a belief, if I change it around, who has a belief that it's super easy to make money? Amazing. A few of you. Wonderful. Okay, wonderful. So we have a mix. That is really, really, really good. If you have a knowing that it is easy to make money, just go and make money. That is absolutely awesome. But for everybody who has the belief that it is hard to make money, that is going to be super, super, super important. I really needed to change that one. And the last month, I had one of my best months ever. Or I did have my best month ever, financially. 100,000 SEK. And I'm so proud. Because I'm showing myself that it is easy to make money. It doesn't have to be hard. And the reason why I'm sharing those numbers is because for me, I knew it in my heart that I was supposed to make a lot of money, but that felt so hard. There were times where I only could make like 10,000 SEK a month. And going from that to really have like 100,000 SEK a month, that's a low month now. But it is because I've changed that belief. And this is so important that we change the belief. Because if we believe that it is hard to make money, that hard to make money is going to show up over and over and over again. So the last one, I am different. Things may work for others, but they're not working for me. Who have ever had a feeling that you're different? Like, you can see that things are working out for other people, but they are obviously not working out for you. So thank you so much for sharing this. This is such a big one. And I remember my teacher, she, like back in 2016, my hypnosis teacher, the first teacher I ever had, and when it came to the mind, she said that, well, everybody believes that they are different, meaning that they are just like everybody else, meaning that they're not actually different at all. And this is what I've seen throughout my work as well. because every time I shared with people, and especially my soulmate tribe, which are the highly sensitive, super empathic women, every time I shared this feeling, like I always felt like I was an outsider, I was different. All my women, they're like, I know exactly, I felt the same. And then we become super perfect match because we understand each other. But when we live with that belief, I am different, so things are working out for other people, but they're not working out for me, then it's like, it's really going to be hard. If we have that belief, it's really going to be hard to actually see what is possible for ourselves if we believe that it is possible for others but not for us. Because then that one is going to keep ourselves very small. Does that make sense? Amazing. So many brave ladies that are sharing what you're feeling. And this is also the thing, like when I'm saying feeling, like Lovis, what you said about the body, like all the feelings, they come from the mind. Like when I'm talking about something, it triggers a belief in your subconscious and then you feel a feeling. And this is why I'm asking, like, do you feel that? Because it's like a physical reaction coming from the belief that is being triggered. So when we have that belief, I'm different, so everything will work for other people, but not for me. And this is, by the way, why I bring up testimonials in the Escape the Rat Race Facebook group, where I have women, some of my amazing clients, where they get to share their story. Because if that can inspire one other woman to feel like, oh, she's very much like me, if she can do it, maybe I can do it as well. This is why it is so important to that we are looking for people that we can resonate with. And my hope when I share the peeing story or whatever story, the dyslexia or the infertility or whatever it is, my hope is that it triggers something within you to see that, oh, but Linda also went through dyslexia. And I know that so many of my women, they have also gone through dyslexia. So it's just hilarious of how we tend to bring like really so many people who are the same as us. But that is my hope, that when I share these stories from my life, because my hope is that that will trigger within you that you feel like, well, I felt different my whole life, but if Linda went through this and I went through this, maybe I am kind of the same as her. And if it is possible for her, maybe it is possible for me. Because that is the power when we start to really see other women that have come before us and have gone through the same kind of story. So that is the last one that we really want to cure. Like there are more beliefs, but I boiled it down to 13. So that one we really want to cure. We want to shift that one, and we want to understand that if it works for somebody else, I have come to the conclusion now, like every time I hear somebody makes like whatever much money, but whatever it is that somebody is doing, and I want to do that, I'm like, perfect. They did it. It means that I can do it as well. I used to be triggered when people had what I wanted to have because I felt like, oh, apparently they can do it, but I'm different, so I can't do it. But now I know it because I've changed that belief. And then everything and everybody that have what we want to have, they become an inspiration, which feels amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, wonderful. How are we feeling? Are we feeling good? Fantastic. Sophia, how det felt? Could I put you on the spot? Would you be okay with jumping in for just 1 second? Would that be all right? So I'm sorry for doing this to you.
Okay.
Because as we are speaking of like feeling the connection with somebody else, somebody who has gone through the same kind of things that we have gone through, we're speaking about beliefs. Would you, I'm thinking about the English thing, because you got help to just change from one of my other clients. It was from Helena, right? Who is also here in the training now. So Helena helped Sophia to do a session on her subconscious mind because Sophia felt that it was hard with English. And now Sophia is showing up because you reprogrammed her subconscious mind. So Helena helped Sophia to reprogram her subconscious mind, and now Sophia is showing up speaking English, and I'm so proud of you. So how does that feel, Sophia, to be able to speak English now?
Amazing. I was so scared to speak, and now when I'm thinking on it, it is, of course I never have learned, for I was so scared. So yeah, hjärnan stänger av.
Yeah.
Ja.
And this is incredible that you had this massive fear, and now you are showing up here without preparation on a live call in front of other women, and it's being recorded, and you are doing it in English. And that is just so incredible. And that you have shown up on other videos as well on social media and speaking English. And we did a coaching call for the program the other day where you were speaking English the whole time. So in the beginning, like, what would you say is the biggest transformation? Because today we've been talking about beliefs, so I'm not really talking about the English now, but what would you say is the biggest shift since you found my work? How did you used to feel before you found my work, and how are you feeling today when you have done the training?
Yeah. When I meet you, I think I have my dream job, dream work. And I really, really like it. But I was so tired, so I can not work with it anymore. And I don't. Jag vill inte heller längre idag.
Yeah. So you thought that you really had your dream job, which was you worked in a daycare, right? So
Yeah.
you work with children, and that was your like normal regular job when you found my work. And then very soon, because I remember I asked you the question, I was like, is this your dream job or is it your dream life? And you were very soon to answer that question, and you said, well, it's my dream job. And then we tapped in a bit more to your soul, and you saw yourself living a life that was so much more free, like freedom. And you saw yourself in living in nature, in a nice house by a lake. And now you have actually quit your job, and you are starting to helping clients with the Master Manifestor hypnosis technique. How does that feel?
Good. And I'm so happy.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on and for sharing. How amazing was that for everybody to just hear a little bit of Sophia's story? Wonderful. You see all the like sparkles and the hearts. Wonderful. Amazing. Thank you so much. And I received so much beautiful feedback the other week as well when Helena came on in the end of the training, and there were so many women reaching out to me saying that was so helpful. So this is why I wanted to bring Sophia on today and share another of my amazing clients' wonderful story, because you have done such an incredible transformation in the way you show up now, Sophia, with your newfound confidence, and you're helping clients. And when you are getting back to me and you're like, I'm thinking about doing this with this client, and I'm just so I'm so proud of you, and I know that you have the most successful life ahead of you, and I can't wait. So everybody, thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Congratulations for taking notes, for dedicating yourself to really step into your own power, because this is what happens. Like, you have the ability from today on, when you dedicate, you're like, I'm going to change these beliefs. Because when you start to change these 13 beliefs and you switch them, you swap them around, and like your life will never be the same again. So if you want to go from stuck to super powerful, then that is what you need to do. You need to change those beliefs. And thank you so much, Linda. I hope that you will feel better, because you told us in the beginning that you were a bit sick. So I hope that you will feel better very soon. So if anybody of you are like, I really want help, like, of course, you can take some years trying to figure it out yourself, how to change the beliefs. And maybe you will, maybe you won't. But if you feel like, I really don't want to waste time, and you feel like, who likes fast results? Amazing. So some of you really like fast results. If you like fast results, and if you want a really, really fast change, send me a DM, send me a text message, and just tell me, hey, Linda, I was on the live training and I would like to figure out more about the program, the Master Manifestor program. Could the Master Manifestor program help me as well to really step into my own power? Because that is what the Master Manifestor program does. It is helping highly sensitive women to step into their power, to start to make money from their empathic gifts, to start to live in alignment with their soul, so that they can really, really create the successful life that their soul knows that they are meant. Amazing. I'm sending you all so much love. Wishing you a super, super, super beautiful rest of your day. Bye for now. Bye, everybody.